Welcome to the Deep Dive, your essential shortcut to understanding what truly matters in current affairs. Today, we're embarking on a crucial exploration of the news from July 25th, 2025, Part 1. This is crafted specifically for you, the UPSC aspirant.
That's right.
Now, you might find some of these topics are a valuable revision, reinforcing knowledge you already have, while others, well, they'll be entirely new insights, ready to elevate your preparation.
And our mission in every deep dive, as always, is to cut through all that information overload. We want to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights from a whole range of sources. We're covering quite a bit today, everything from ancient history, modern economic reforms, some key governance changes, international law, even breakthroughs in energy and skills development.
Real mix.
Exactly. The goal is to ensure you're comprehensively informed, but, without feeling overwhelmed.
So let's jump right in. We're about to uncover crucial details, maybe some surprising facts, all structured to respect your time and give you those critical aha moments you need.
Let's do it.
Okay, kicking things off with a fascinating blend of history and culture. The Ministry of Culture is currently marking a truly monumental milestone.
Oh, yes.
The 1000th anniversary of Rajendra Chola I's legendary maritime expedition to Southeast Asia. And this is being celebrated through the Adadi Thiruvathurai Festival.
Right. And what's particularly striking here, I think, is how this festival isn't just about military history, is it? It deeply intertwines with Tamil Shiva Bhakti traditions.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it specifically honors the 63 Nayanmars, those revered saint poets who actually received significant patronage and support from the Chola dynasty itself.
So it highlights the cultural depth.
Precisely. It shows these profound cultural and religious roots embedded within this historical commemoration. It's not just ships and battles.
Okay, so for those who might need a quick refresher, who exactly was Rajendra Chola I, and how did he fit into the broader Chola legacy?
Well, Rajendra Chola I, he reigned from 1014 to 1044 CE. He followed in the footsteps of his very powerful father, Rajendra III, who'd become king back in 985. But Rajendra, he really distinguished himself not just as a successor, but as a major conqueror. He earned that prestigious title, Gangaikonda Chola.
Gangaikonda Chola.
Meaning the Chola who conquered the Ganga. He got this for his successful conquest, believe it or not, of the Ganga Valley. And to commemorate this huge victory, he founded a new capital, Gangaikonda Cholapuram, and even built a magnificent temple of the same name there.
Wow. But his real mark on history, and why we're discussing him today, really lies in his incredible naval prowess, doesn't it?
Absolutely. He led remarkably successful expeditions, not just against Sri Lanka, but more significantly, against the really formidable Srivijaya Empire in Southeast Asia.
Srivijaya.
Yes. And this legacy is so enduring that even today, the capital of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands actually bears his influence. It's named Srivijayapuram.
That's incredible. How dominant was Srivijaya back then? What made that victory so impressive?
Well, Srivijaya was, by the 7th century, pretty much the undisputed maritime power in Southeast Asia. They controlled key trade routes.
So a major player.
A major player. So Chola's victory wasn't just some minor skirmish. It was a major naval confrontation against a very established power. It demonstrated immense strategic reach for the Cholas.
And just to give context on the Chola Empire itself,
they
weren't always dominant.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
They rose from being relatively minor chiefs under the Pallavas based in Uraiyur. It was Vijayalaya Chola who really initiated their ascent to prominence back in the 9th century.
Right. And beyond the military side, what about the Chola administration? What characterized their governance and, their cultural contributions?
Well, their local governance system was remarkably sophisticated for its time. You had settlements of peasants known as the Yes, and these flourished particularly because of advanced irrigation systems. Then groups of these villages formed larger units called Nadu. And these Nadu were pretty autonomous units responsible for administering justice and collecting taxes. Common taxes included Vedi, which referred to forced labor, and Kadamai, which was land revenue.
So a decentralized but effective system.
Quite advanced, yeah.
And when we look for primary sources on this period, what's particularly insightful for understanding their governance? Where do we get this info?
The Uraiyur inscriptions are absolutely invaluable here.
Okay.
They provide really detailed accounts of the Chola administrative system, particularly their unique electoral processes for local bodies. These inscriptions offer a rare glimpse into the actual mechanics of their local self-governance. It's crucial for understanding just how sophisticated their political structure was.
And culturally, I mean, the Cholas left an undeniable mark, didn't they? We still see it today.
Oh, absolutely. Cultural giants. They're splendid temples collectively known as the Great Living Chola Temples. You've got Gangaikonda Cholapuram, Airavatesvara, and Brihadiswara.
The big ones.
They're not just architectural marvels, they are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And then, of course, there are their exquisite bronze sculptures. The iconic Nataraja, for instance, is globally renowned for its artistic and spiritual depth.
Right. So, for your UPSC preparation, the key takeaway here seems to be this. Rajendra Chola's maritime expeditions, they weren't just about conquest. They really established a kind of blueprint for India's historical engagement with Southeast Asia, demonstrating an early form of strategic outreach that, you could argue, continues to influence modern diplomacy and trade routes.
Definitely. This historical deep dive offers crucial insights into India's rich past, its ancient connections, and it's highly relevant for GS Paper 1.
Okay. Shifting gears completely now from ancient empires to modern economic realities, let's unpack a recent study on India's tax system.
Right.
It's quite striking when you look at the numbers. Consumption taxes account for over 62% of India's total tax revenue. That's more than income and property taxes combined.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk.
And GST contributes a full half of that 62%.
Which makes understanding the distributional burden of GST, who actually pays it, absolutely critical. And on that note, a recent study by the National Institute of Public Finance and Policy, NIPFP, has characterized the GST regime as progressive.
Progressive. Now that's significant because it suggests that higher income groups are actually contributing a larger share of GST, which helps to reduce post-tax inequality.
Exactly.
Now that finding is quite interesting, especially because it directly contradicts the 2023 Oxfam report. That report claimed the poor paid something like 2/3 of GST.
It did. The NIPFP study provides specific data points to back up its conclusion. For instance, in rural areas, they found the bottom 50% pay about 31% of their income as GST, while the top 20% pay 37%.
Okay.
And in urban areas, the gap is even wider. The bottom 50% pay 29%, while the top 20% pay 41%.
So how do we as listeners reconcile these seemingly contradictory findings? Why does NIPFP say progressive when Oxfam said the opposite?
Well, the NIPFP study fundamentally challenges those prior assumptions about GST being inherently regressive. It argues that the key is the multi-slab system.
Different rates.
Precisely. Essential goods and services, think health, education, they're often taxed at lower rates, and many food items are entirely exempt. This tiered structure is specifically designed, they argue, to make GST more equitable. The Oxfam report might not have fully accounted for the granular impact of these multiple slabs and exemptions across different income groups.
Right, that makes sense. The NIPFP paper also issues a crucial policy warning, though, doesn't it?
It does. It warns that increasing the tax rate on items currently in that 5 to 12% bracket could inadvertently increase the tax burden specifically on lower-income consumers.
A potential unintended consequence.
Exactly. And there's also a proposal floating around to simplify the GST regime by getting rid of the 12% rate entirely.
Right, shifting things to 5% or 18%.
Yes. The study strongly suggests policymakers need to meticulously consider these distributional effects before making any changes. Even seemingly minor adjustments can have significant and different impacts across consumption classes.
Okay, so for your UPSC preparation, the key takeaway here. This NIPFP report really challenges prior assumptions about GST's impact. It forces policymakers to think very carefully about tax rate revisions, especially in that critical 5–12% band, to avoid hitting lower income groups harder.
It's critical insight into India's current tax structure, potential reforms, and it's highly relevant for your understanding of the Indian economy and GS Paper 3.
Definitely. Okay, from the intricate world of taxation, let's now turn our attention to governance, specifically how India is looking to reform its sports bodies. This is a sector often, let's face it, plagued by governance challenges.
That's certainly true.
A new national sports governance bill has just been introduced in the Lok Sabha. What's its core objective?
Well, the core aim is pretty clear. Establish comprehensive legislation that fundamentally improves the governance of sports bodies. The ultimate goals are achieving better results on the field, naturally, but also reducing those persistent disputes and litigation involving various sports federations. A major component is the planned establishment of national sports bodies, or NSBs, for recognized sports organizations. This includes the National Olympic Committee, NOC, as the sole governing body for Olympic sports in India, the National Paralympic Committee, NPC, and other national sports federations, NSFs, and regional sports federations, RSFs.
So, clarifying structures. The bill also proposes a national sports board. That sounds like it would have significant authority. How will it operate?
Indeed. This board would be empowered to grant recognition to any sports organization as a national sports body. Its chairperson and members would be appointed by the central government, drawing from individuals with special knowledge or practical experience in fields like, say, public administration, sports governance, or sports law.
Ensuring expertise.
Exactly. That ensures expertise guides its decisions.
And what would be the board's main functions if we connect this to the bigger picture of sports administration?
Its functions are broad and pretty crucial. Things like maintaining a register of all the NSBs, stepping in to constitute ad hoc administrative bodies if needed, collaborating with international sports bodies, and issuing guidelines to ensure everyone's complying with international standards and, the best practices of the Olympic and sports movement.
So a central regulator.
Essentially, yes,
Okay.
a central regulatory and oversight body.
Another critical component mentioned is the National Sports Selection Panel. What's its role?
Yes, that panel will specifically oversee free and fair elections for both the executive committees and the athletes committees of these NSBs.
Athletes committees, too. Interesting.
Yes, which is vital for ensuring democratic functioning and, importantly, athlete representation within the sports federations.
And for all the disputes that, let's be honest, often arise in sports, how does the bill propose to handle them?
Yeah, that raises an important point. The bill proposes a dedicated National Sports Tribunal.
A tribunal.
Yes. It would comprise a chairperson, who must be a Supreme Court judge or a Chief Justice of a high court, along with 2 members who are experts in sports, public administration, and law. This tribunal would formulate its own procedures designed for speedy resolution of sports-related disputes.
Speedy being the key word.
Hopefully. And expenses would be covered by the Consolidated Fund of India. Crucially, civil courts will have no jurisdiction over matters under the tribunal's purview.
So it bypasses the regular court system.
That's the aim, to streamline and significantly expedite dispute resolution.
And beyond these structural changes, the bill also emphasizes ethics and safety. What specific provisions does it include there?
Good question. Every national sports body will be mandated to formulate a code of ethics, and this has to be aligned with international best practices. Furthermore, they must implement a safe sports policy and a robust grievance redressal mechanism.
That sounds important.
It really is. It's designed specifically to ensure the protection of vulnerable groups, like women and minor athletes, fostering a safer and more ethical environment in Indian sports.
Okay, so for your UPSC preparation, the key takeaway here. This bill aims to fundamentally professionalize sports administration in India. It's creating clearer institutional mechanisms, legal frameworks, all designed to foster transparency, accountability, and athlete welfare.
This deep dive into the sports governance bill is crucial for understanding reforms in public administration, institutional mechanisms, and it's highly relevant for GS Paper 2.
Definitely. Now, building on that theme of institutional mechanisms, let's shift our focus internationally to international law and a, groundbreaking development concerning climate change.
Yeah, the ICJ.
Exactly. The International Court of Justice has just delivered a landmark advisory opinion on tackling climate change. This is a case championed by the Pacific island nation of Vanuatu, supported by over 130 countries.
This really is a significant moment in international climate governance. Back in 2023, the UN General Assembly made a direct request to the ICJ. They wanted an advisory opinion on what states' obligations are under international law to protect the environment.
And the consequences for failing.
And crucially, the legal consequences for failing to meet these obligations. The ICJ's response now provides some powerful legal clarity on that.
So what are the key highlights? What does the ICJ's ruling truly affirm for the global effort against climate change?
Well, the ruling has several really powerful affirmations. First, it explicitly stated that a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment is indeed a human right.
A human right. That's big.
It is. This implies states are bound by foundational treaties like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and therefore they must act on climate change to protect these rights. Second, it affirmed that states are obliged to limit emissions. Obliged. They must prevent harm from greenhouse gas emissions and ensure they meet the Paris Agreement target limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. And it's sobering, isn't it, to remember global temperatures have already increased by 1.3 degrees C.
We're close.
Very close. Third, the ruling clearly outlined consequences for noncompliance. If states fail to meet their obligations, they incur legal responsibility.
What kind of responsibility?
Well, it could mean being required to cease the wrongful conduct, offer guarantees they won't repeat it, and make full reparation, depending on the specific circumstances.
Right. Now, if we connect this to the bigger picture, some major economies, like the U.S. and Russia, have historically resisted any kind of court-mandated emission cuts. Does this ICJ opinion actually change the landscape? Does it add new pressure?
I think it absolutely does. Look, while advisory opinions aren't legally binding in the same way judgments between states are, they carry immense moral and legal authority.
So it's influential.
Hugely influential. The ICJ's opinion adds significant and growing legal pressure on nations to act. It provides a powerful legal framework for future litigation, for advocacy, for national policymaking. It could definitely influence how countries approach their climate commitments going forward.
Okay. And just for those less familiar, could you quickly remind us about the ICJ itself? Where does it fit in?
Sure. The ICJ, International Court of Justice, established in 1945. It's the principal judicial body of the United Nations, headquartered at the Peace Palace in The Hague, Netherlands.
The Hague?
Right. Its main functions are settling legal disputes submitted to it by states and giving advisory opinions on legal questions referred by authorized UN organs and specialized agencies.
But it can only hear cases when states agree.
That's a key limitation, yes. It can only hear contentious cases when the states involved have consented to its jurisdiction. It consists of 15 judges, elected for 9-year terms by the UN General Assembly and Security Council. They act independently, not as government representatives. It's widely known as the World Court.
The World?
And it remains the only international court specifically for resolving disputes among all 193 UN member states.
Got it. So for UPSC prep, the key takeaway here is this. This ICJ decision isn't just a legal pronouncement. It's a powerful statement that elevates climate action from just a policy choice to a legal obligation tied directly to human rights.
This deep dive is absolutely crucial for understanding international law, environmental governance, global efforts on climate change, directly relevant for both GS Paper 2 and 3.
Absolutely. Okay, from international legal precedents, let's transition to a pretty significant domestic achievement in India's energy sector.
Good news?
Good news. India has achieved 20% ethanol blending in petrol, E20, a remarkable 5 years ahead of schedule.
That really is a green leap forward. And just to clarify what ethanol is, it's C2H5OH, ethyl alcohol. It's a renewable fuel derived from various plant materials, what we collectively call biomass.
Like sugarcane.
Like sugarcane, maize, wheat, other starch-rich crops. It's primarily produced through the natural fermentation of sugars, though petrochemical processes can also yield it.
Now, India's Ethanol Blended Petrol, or EBP, program actually began way back in 2003. But the National Policy on Biofuels from 2018, amended in 2022, really pushed things forward, didn't it?
It did. It aggressively advanced that 20% blending target to 2025-26. The original target was 2030. So doing it 5 years early is quite something.
What sources are now permitted for ethanol production under this accelerated policy?
The policy is quite comprehensive now. It allows sugarcane juice, sugar beet, cassava, damaged food grains unfit for human consumption, even rotten potatoes.
Right.
Crucially, it also permits the use of surplus food grains. This is a strategic move. It ensures fair prices for farmers during periods of overproduction while simultaneously boosting ethanol supply.
Smart linkage. And the numbers showcasing the achievements are pretty impressive.
They really are. Look at this. Ethanol production surged from just 38 crore liters back in 2014 to over 660 crore liters in 2025.
Wow, massive increase.
Massive. And this translates into huge benefits. A saving of 1.36 lakh crore in foreign exchange, approximately 1.2 lakh crore paid directly to farmers, and a significant reduction of around 700 lakh tons of CO2 emissions.
There are wins across the board: economic, agricultural, environmental.
A multifaceted success.
Now, this level of success couldn't have been accidental. What strategic measures really helped boost this program so significantly?
Well, several key policy interventions were instrumental. You had the Interest Subvention Scheme in 2018, which encouraged investment in ethanol production capacity.
Okay.
GST on ethanol was significantly lowered from 18% down to 5% in 2018. New feedstocks like sugar and sugar syrup were brought in for ethanol production at fixed remunerative prices in 2019.
Expanding the base.
Yes. The Industries Development and Regulation Act, the IDR Act, was amended in 2016 to clarify roles for continuous supply. And the National Biofuels Coordination Committee, the NBCC, approved using maize for ethanol production in 2020. It was a concerted effort.
Clearly. So for your UPSC preparation, the key takeaway here: India's accelerated ethanol blending achievement is a testament to strategic policymaking. It simultaneously enhances energy security, supports agricultural stability, and contributes to climate goals.
This deep dive really highlights India's progress in renewable energy, energy security, agricultural policy, all vital for your understanding of GS Paper 3.
Definitely. Okay, let's transition now to a rapid-fire round of other crucial developments. These are the also in news items, perfect for quick recall and staying on top of daily current affairs.
All right, let's go. First up, the India Skills Accelerator Initiative. The Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, MSDE, working with the World Economic Forum, WEF, is discussing this. Key objectives: enable agile career transitions, promote scalable training, and align education better with industry needs, especially in hot sectors like AI, robotics, advanced manufacturing, clean energy. It's a public-private collab, part of WEF's bigger reskilling revolution.
Okay, future-proofing skills. Got it.
Next, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAMs. This is the European Commission's new measure. It's designed to tackle carbon leakage, basically. Industries moving from places with strict emission norms, like the EU, to places with weaker ones.
Undermining climate efforts.
Exactly. CBAM will require importers to pay for the carbon emissions embedded in certain goods initially across 6 sectors: cement, aluminium, fertilizers, iron and steel, hydrogen, and electricity. It essentially puts a carbon price on imports to level the playing field and promote a low-carbon economy.
Right, a trade and climate measure.
Then, the National Crisis Management Committee, NCMC. The Home Ministry has notified new rules for it, the Disaster Management NCMC Procedure Rules 2025. This follows the Disaster Management Amendment Act 2025, which gave statutory status to the NCMC. Headed by the Cabinet Secretary, it's the key body for major disasters evaluating preparedness, coordinating response, a strengthened framework.
Good to know. What else?
A quick fact: the Henley Passport Index 2025. India's ranking jumped significantly, from 85 in 2024 up to 77 in 2025.
That's a good jump.
It is. It means Indian citizens can now travel to 59 destinations without needing a prior visa. The ranking uses data from IATA. Singapore still holds the top spot, by the way.
Okay, passport power increasing.
Now, a health update on chikungunya. The WHO has warned of major epidemic risks globally. It's that mosquito-borne viral disease transmitted by the Aedes mosquitoes, same ones that carry dengue and Zika.
Nasty combination.
Yes. And currently, there's no specific antiviral drug treatment. This really underscores the importance of prevention. India's National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program, NVBDCP, is the comprehensive initiative for prevention and control here.
Right. Vector control is key.
Moving to tech accessibility. The AI for India 2.0 program. MSDE reported this program enabled tech learning in 9 vernacular languages: Hindi, Telugu, Kannada, etc., making tech skills accessible, inclusive for India's youth, especially targeting students, grads, early career folks from rural or non-English backgrounds. Offers free online training in AI and machine learning.
Democratizing AI skill.
Exactly. In energy markets. Power market coupling. The Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, CERC, has directed that power market coupling will begin with the day-ahead market, DAM, from January 2026. DAM is a physical trading market for electricity for the next day. Market coupling basically aggregates orders from all power exchanges, matches them, and determines one uniform market clearing price nationwide.
Aiming for efficiency.
Yes. Helps achieve price convergence between different markets, increasing efficiency and transparency in power trading. One nation, one grid, one price, essentially.
Yeah, more.
Last one. The Financial Conditions Index, FCI. An RBI study has proposed constructing an FCI for India. The goal is to track market trends daily. It assesses how tight or easy financial market conditions are compared to the historical average since 2012. It looks at 5 market segments: money market, GSEC, corporate bonds, forex, and equity. A higher positive FCI value indicates tighter financial conditions, a useful barometer for policymakers.
A real-time check on financial health.
Yes.
Got it. These concise insights are definitely vital for general knowledge and that quick recall needed for examinations. Phew! Okay, we have just navigated through a pretty significant array of current affairs today, from ancient maritime empires all the way to modern economic indicators and international legal precedents.
We really covered some ground. We truly host this deep dive into the 25th of July, 2025. Part 1 has provided you with clarity, perhaps some fresh perspectives, and those essential nuggets of knowledge for your UPSC preparation.
Absolutely. And remember, staying consistently informed is just so key to your success. If you found this deep dive valuable, please do make sure to like it and subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming daily current affairs deep dives. Your support really helps us continue bringing you this content.
And as you reflect on today's topics, maybe consider this. How do these seemingly disparate events, from ancient naval power shaping regional influence centuries ago to modern climate rulings demanding global accountability today, how do they collectively shape our understanding of India's historical trajectory and its evolving role on the global stage right now?
That's a great thought to end on. Join us next time for another deep dive into the world of knowledge.